The galaxy was old. Many believed it had seen everything. Stars were born, burned bright, and then faded into silence. Civilizations rose, reached for the stars, and sometimes fell before others ever noticed they had existed. Among these civilizations was the Cathar Dominion, a proud and powerful alliance that had lasted for many millennia. They considered themselves one of the great elder species, keepers of wisdom and rulers of vast regions of space. Yet in the year of their long calendar, something unexpected happened. A team of Cathar explorers discovered ruins in a distant sector of uncharted space. The ruins were buried beneath the crust of a barren world, a world with no atmosphere, no seas, no sign of life. Still, strange towers of black stone stood there, their edges sharp even after endless ages. The lead explorer, Commander Varith, walked slowly among the ruins. His four eyes scanned every angle, his scales glowing faintly under the thin light of the star. He touched the stone walls with clawed hands, and his voice carried over the communicator. These are not natural formations. They were built, and they are older than anything we know. His team confirmed his words. The stone was harder than any material the Dominion had used. Strange marks were etched into the wall, some too eroded to read, but others clear as if they had been cut yesterday. The marks were symbols, writing of some kind. When the data reached the Dominion's Science Council, excitement filled the chambers. If this writing could be translated, it might reveal the builders of these forgotten towers. Many believed it would show proof of an unknown elder species, one that predated even the Cathar. Weeks passed as linguists and machines worked. At first, the language resisted all efforts. It was complex, filled with layers of meaning. But slowly patterns emerged. The scholars began to recognize similarities, shapes, letters, sounds. The shock came when one scholar, a young researcher named Raylan, made a bold claim. "This language matches one from a primitive world," he said in front of the council. "It matches Earth." At first, silence filled the great hall. Then laughter broke out. The idea seemed absurd. Earth was a minor planet in a quiet arm of the galaxy. Its people were just beginning to leave their star system. To suggest that such a young, primitive species had built these ruins was madness, but Raylan insisted. He showed image after image. Ancient human alphabets matched the carvings on the ruins. The similarities were undeniable. He displayed a star map carved on a slab of stone. It showed constellations exactly as seen from Earth 50,000 years ago. The laughter died. The counselors whispered among themselves. If this was true, then humanity was not new. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was ancient, still many resisted the idea. One elder counselor struck the table with his hand. Impossible. The humans are barely capable of interplanetary travel. They are late children in the galactic family. They cannot be builders of empires. But the evidence grew. More ruins were uncovered on other forgotten worlds. Each carried the same symbols. Each told the same story. A race of beings who once spread across the stars, building monuments, guiding younger species, and then disappearing without a trace. Commander Varith returned to the council after another expedition. His ship had found a massive statue buried in ice on a frozen moon. When the ice was melted away, the statue revealed the face of a human. Not a Cathar, not a Sarathi, not any known species. A human carved in stone with eyes gazing at the stars. Around the head was a crown of symbols, symbols that translated into one word: first. The council chamber fell silent as the image was displayed on the great screen. No one laughed this time. Questions filled the air. Could humans be the true elder species? If so, why had they fallen? Why had they forgotten their past? And most of all, if they once ruled, could they rise again? The discovery spread in secret among the Dominion's leaders. They debated whether to tell the wider galaxy. Some argued for silence, fearing panic. Others wished to use the knowledge to control humanity before the humans discovered it themselves. Meanwhile, on Earth, life went on as usual. Humanity continued its slow journey into space, building small colonies on Mars and mining stations in the asteroid belt. They had no idea of the ruins scattered across the galaxy, ruins that carried their mark, their language, their history. But whispers began even among alien traders and travelers. A Vonic merchant told stories of finding tools on a desert world that matched human design. A Sarathi explorer claimed his ancestors spoke of giants of flesh who once ruled the heavens. Old myths resurfaced, myths of the first people who walked like mortals but held the power of gods. The Cathar leadership grew uneasy. Their pride as an elder species felt threatened. If humans were truly the oldest, then the Dominion's place in the galaxy was weaker than they thought. Some counselors wanted to destroy the evidence, to erase the ruins and silence the researchers. Others argued that such an act was too dangerous. If humans discovered the truth on their own, they would never forgive it. In the middle of the debate, another discovery shook them even more. On a planet near the edge of the galactic rim, a team uncovered a sealed chamber beneath a mountain. Inside, machines still hummed softly, powered by energy cells that had lasted tens of thousands of years. At the center was a crystal tablet. When activated, the tablet projected an image. It was a recording, hazy but clear enough. A human stood tall, clothed in strange armor, speaking in a language that the machines instantly translated. To those who find this, know that we were here. We were the first. We guided the stars and shaped the paths of many. But our time passed and we chose to leave so that others may grow. Remember us not with fear but with respect, for one day our children will rise again. The chamber fell into silence as the recording ended. The Cathar scientists who watched it stared at one another, their hearts filled with both awe and dread. The message was clear. Humanity had not simply vanished. They had chosen to step aside. Commander Vareth sent the recording to the Council with a final note. If this is true, then humans are not what we believe them to be. They are not children of the galaxy. They are its ancestors. The council chamber was filled with heated arguments that lasted through the night. Some demanded immediate action to place Earth under Dominion control. Others warned that rushing in could awaken forces best left alone. But one fact could not be denied. Across the galaxy, the ruins stood as silent proof. Humans had walked among the stars long before the Cathar, the Serathi, or any other known race. Humans had been the first. And if they discovered this truth themselves, no one could predict what would happen. The stars, it seemed, still held secrets. And the greatest secret of all was that the youngest race was, in fact, the oldest. End of Part 1. The truth about the ruins spread quietly through the Cathar Dominion. The ruling council kept the discoveries hidden from the wider galaxy, but secrets never stayed buried for long. Rumors moved faster than ships. Whispers traveled through traders, scientists, and wandering explorers. They spoke of ancient monuments with human faces, of languages tied to Earth, of machines older than stars. While the Dominion argued in silence, humanity itself remained unaware. On Earth, scientists celebrated small victories. A new fusion engine cut travel time between Mars and the asteroid belt in half. Mining stations grew busier, and young colonists dreamed of a future among the stars. For them, space was still a frontier, full of hope and promise. Among these pioneers was the Odyssey crew, a group of explorers who worked under the Earth-Space Alliance. Their ship, the Odyssey Dawn, was not large, but it was strong, fitted with new experimental drives. Their mission was to study the outer planets, map unknown regions, and test long-range exploration. The crew included Captain Mira Chen, calm and determined. Engineer Rafael Torres, always smiling even in danger. Dr. Amina Khalid, a brilliant scientist with endless curiosity. And pilot Jason Reed, known for daring maneuvers. They were a team bound by trust and adventure. Their lives changed during a routine mission near Jupiter. While scanning the orbit of the gas giant, the Odyssey's sensors picked up something unusual. A metallic structure floated among the icy moons, hidden in the shadow of Callisto. At first, the crew thought it was debris, maybe an old satellite. But as they approached, the shape grew clear. It was no human craft. The object was vast, shaped like a ring wrapped in layers of broken towers. It had the look of a station, but it was ancient and silent. "This isn't ours," Captain Chen whispered, as the Odyssey Dawn circled the structure. Raphael leaned over the console. "The metal. I don't recognize the composition. It's not from Earth, not even close. Captain, this is alien." The words made the cabin fall quiet. Humanity had only made contact with a handful of alien species before, most of them on neutral trade stations beyond the solar system. But this was different. This was here, inside their own backyard. Dr. Khalid's voice trembled with excitement. "We have to board it. Look at the readings. There's still power inside. This station has been running for thousands of years." Against all caution, the crew decided to investigate. Using docking clamps, they attached their small ship to the side of the station. The airlock hissed as it opened into a corridor dark with dust. Their suits lit the way, beams cutting through centuries of silence. Inside, the walls were covered with carvings. Symbols repeated again and again, etched into the metal as if someone wanted them never to be forgotten. Some symbols looked strange and alien, but others were shockingly familiar. Letters shaped like those once carved on ancient human stones. Jason stopped in his tracks. Am I seeing things, or is that English? Old English? Dr. Khalid crouched, brushing her gloved hand across the wall. Not exactly, but close, very close. These markings, they share roots with human scripts. This station, it knows us. Deeper inside, they found a chamber filled with crystal-like consoles. Though covered in dust, the machines flickered as they approached, responding to their presence. Light spread across the room, forming a web of glowing lines. Then, without warning, a projection filled the air, a map of the galaxy. Stars lit up in clusters. Worlds were marked with symbols. Pathways connected them like rivers of light. At the center of the map was Earth's sun, glowing brighter than all the rest. Around it, a single word appeared in the alien script, but the machines translated it automatically. The word was simple, powerful, origin. The crew stood frozen. This can't be real, Raphael muttered, but it was. The map showed the expansion of a people who had spread across thousands of systems, leaving traces of their rule everywhere, and all of it began from Earth. The records were damaged, but fragments played across the glowing screens. They showed images of humans, taller, stronger, dressed in armor that shimmered with unknown energy. These humans spoke to alien species, teaching them, guiding them, building cities that touched the skies of strange worlds. Yet the last entries were broken, filled with static. Words half-faded remained. We step aside. Others must grow. We will return. The Odyssey crew stared at one another. The truth was clear. Humanity was not a young race crawling into space for the first time. Humanity was old, ancient, perhaps the first. Captain Chen finally spoke. We need to share this. The world has to know. They began transmitting data back to Earth. Images of the ruins, the map, the records, all of it was sent to the Earth Space Alliance. The transmission moved through satellites, bouncing across channels until it reached the ground. But in sending it, they did not know who else was listening. Far beyond Jupiter, hidden in the dark void, a Cathar listening post caught the signal. The Cathar Council had been watching Earth closely, fearing that humans might one day uncover their forgotten past. Now it was too late. The humans had found a station, and they had shared the truth. Admiral Zyrol of the Cathar fleet received the report with cold dread. He turned to his officers. The humans have seen too much. If they learn who they once were, the balance of the galaxy will break. We cannot allow it. He ordered a fleet to move toward Earth silent and swift. Their mission was simple: silence the humans, seize the records, and bury the truth again. On Earth, the broadcast caused shock and disbelief. Scientists argued fiercely. Some dismissed it as fraud. Others studied the symbols and confirmed they matched ancient human languages. Ordinary people felt both pride and fear. Pride that humanity might be the first of all species. Fear of what such a discovery might bring from the galaxy beyond. Meanwhile, the Odyssey crew remained on the alien station, unaware of the danger drawing closer. They worked to repair more of the records, hoping to learn why humanity had vanished from the stars. Jason stood by a console, staring at an image that refused to fade. It was of a human figure, standing among alien leaders, holding out a hand in peace. The caption below the image read in simple letters, "The First Guide." He whispered to himself, "What if we really are the first? What if this is who we were meant to be?" Captain Chen placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then we'll have to decide who we want to be again." Outside, Jupiter's storm swirled endlessly, hiding the stars beyond. In that storm's shadow, humanity's forgotten history was awakening. And in the dark of space, the Cathar fleet moved silently, ready to strike before the truth spread too far. End of Part 2. The galaxy was restless. The broadcast from Earth spread far beyond what the Cathar Council feared. Once the Odyssey crew shared the data, copies traveled faster than any fleet. Traders carried it to border worlds. Curious minds uploaded it into shared networks, and soon the rumor became louder than a secret could ever remain. Images of the alien station near Jupiter flashed across screens on distant colonies. Maps showing Earth at the center of ancient star routes were studied by scholars across countless systems. And the word origin echoed in 1,000 languages. At first, many species laughed. The Sarathi, proud and cunning, dismissed it as a human trick. The Vonok, heavy and stern, called it a dream of children. Even within the Cathar Dominion, some declared it was nothing more than coincidence. Similar shapes and languages, nothing more, but laughter did not erase doubt. The ruins were real. The carvings matched human symbols. The recordings spoke clearly of the first people. And deep in their hearts, many aliens remembered old myths passed through generations. Myths of beings who came from the stars long ago, who built and then vanished. Myths of the Elder Flames, and now those myths had a name: humans. In secret chambers, the leaders of alien councils met. The Sarathi whispered that if humans discovered their true legacy, they might reclaim authority over the galaxy. The Vonok warned that the fragile balance of power would collapse. Some spoke of alliances to contain humanity. Others spoke of silencing them before their awakening spread. But ordinary people were divided. On remote planets, small groups began worshipping humans as the returning first. In markets, merchants carved human faces onto tokens and sold them as charms of luck. Young alien scholars debated endlessly whether humanity could truly be the oldest race. The galaxy had changed, and it could never return to silence. Meanwhile, the Odyssey crew continued their work inside the alien station near Jupiter. For weeks they lived in the dust-filled halls, repairing consoles and unlocking damaged records. Every discovery added weight to the truth. Humanity's past was not only real, it was vast. Dr. Amina Khalid studied the scripts with growing wonder. "Look at this," she told the others one evening, pointing to glowing text on a restored panel. "It says the first people taught others the way of the stars. They built schools, libraries, even fleets for younger races. They weren't conquerors, they were guides." Raphael shook his head slowly. "Then why vanish? Why step back when they had so much power?" Captain Chen replied, her voice steady. "Maybe they wanted to give others a chance. Maybe they didn't want to rule forever." Jason, leaning against a wall, frowned. "Or maybe they knew something was coming. Maybe they planned for us to forget, until the time was right." The crew's words carried both pride and fear. If humanity had been so great, what did it mean for who they were now? Could modern humans, with their fragile ships and new colonies, carry the weight of being the oldest? While they wondered, the Cathar Dominion prepared. Admiral Zyrol's fleet approached the solar system in silence. Hundreds of ships glided like shadows, their dark hulls hidden against the stars. Their mission was not war, at least not at first. Their orders were to seize the station, capture the Odyssey crew, and erase all evidence before more humans could learn. But secrecy failed. As the fleet entered the system, Earth's long-range sensors detected strange movements. Alarms sounded in the Earth Space Alliance command center. For the first time, humanity faced a threat from beyond their cradle. Panic spread quickly. Were they under invasion? Could their new colonies survive? Politicians argued while officers scrambled fleets of defense ships, small, outnumbered, and technologically behind, but determined to protect their home. The Cathar expected an easy task. Against their advanced weapons, human craft were fragile toys. But the Cathar did not know the strength of human minds. The first clash came near the asteroid belt. A small group of human defense ships led by Commander Elias Navarro intercepted a Cathar scouting wing. The humans had no chance in direct combat, so Navarro ordered something unexpected. "Hide among the rocks," he commanded. The ships darted into the belt, vanishing between spinning asteroids. The Cathar followed, confident of victory. But in the maze of stone, the humans turned the battlefield into a trap. They used thruster bursts to kick asteroids into the path of enemy ships. They lured pursuers into collisions. When the Cathar finally realized half their wing was disabled, not destroyed but helpless, news spread quickly. Humans had fought back and won a skirmish. Not with stronger weapons, but with clever tactics. Across the galaxy, alien observers remembered the old ruins. The carvings spoke of humans who once used creativity to defeat stronger foes. History seemed to repeat itself. Back on the alien station, the Odyssey crew received fragments of the battle reports. Fear filled the air. "They're coming for us," Jason said, staring at the glowing consoles. Captain Chen tightened her fists. "Then we need to finish this. If humanity is fighting, they need to know what we found." The crew worked without rest. Piece by piece, they unlocked one final archive. The projection that appeared was clear and strong, a human figure standing before a council of alien leaders. The figure spoke with calm authority. "We were the first. We built, we taught, and we stepped aside. But the galaxy must remember, strength is not in weapons but in unity and wisdom. Those who forget this will fall as all empires fall, and when the time comes, our children will rise again." The words echoed through the chamber. The crew felt their hearts beat faster. This was not only history, it was a warning. Before they could send the final archive to Earth, alarms sounded through the station. The Cathar fleet had arrived. Admiral Zyral's voice rang through the comms, cold and commanding. "This station belongs to the Dominion. Humans will leave it or be removed." Captain Chen stood firm. "This station belongs to humanity. It was ours long before the Dominion existed." The standoff grew tense. Human defense ships rushed to aid the Odyssey Dawn, though they were hopelessly outmatched. Still, they fought with courage. Small frigates darted around massive Cathar cruisers using hit-and-run strikes. Civilian ships even joined, their captains refusing to surrender their home. The Cathar grew frustrated. Victory should have been easy, yet the humans resisted at every turn. Even when ships were lost, survivors fought harder. They were unpredictable, refusing to follow the patterns other races used in battle. Admiral Zyral began to understand why the ruins spoke of humans with both respect and fear. On distant worlds, the news of the battle spread. The Sarathi sneered yet watched closely. The Vonic called the humans reckless yet noted their determination. And in private chambers, alien leaders admitted what they did not want to say aloud. The humans were not weak. Perhaps the myths were true. Perhaps the humans had been the first. The galaxy shifted in its view of Earth. No longer were humans only new explorers. They were a mystery, a possible power rising again. Some feared them. Some admired them. None ignored them. As the fighting near Jupiter raged, the Odyssey crew made their final decision. With the archive secured, Dr. Khalid began transmitting the last recordings directly to Earth and beyond. "Even if they silence us," she said, her voice firm, "the truth will spread. Humanity will know who they are." The recordings burst across the networks, unstoppable. Images of ancient humans, of their guidance, of their choice to step aside. Everything was revealed. The galaxy had no more doubts, and the Cathar, once proud of being called an elder species, realized too late that their pride was a shadow. The real elders were the humans, and they had just begun to awaken. End of Part 3. The galaxy held its breath. After the transmission of the ancient archives, nothing was the same. Humans were no longer seen as a young, insignificant race. Across countless star systems, whispers spread. The first people have returned. The humans are awakening. On Earth, the Odyssey crew worked tirelessly inside the alien station near Jupiter. For weeks, they had pieced together the fractured archives. The records revealed secrets humans had never imagined. They were not only the first to reach the stars, but they had once shaped entire civilizations. They had taught other species, built fleets, and guided empires. And, most importantly, they had chosen to step aside, leaving the galaxy to grow without interference. Dr. Amina Khalid studied a glowing console that projected a three-dimensional star map. "These coordinates, they lead to a hidden vault. Beneath Antarctica," she said, pointing to the small planet's icy continent. "This place, it could hold technology from our ancient past." Captain Mira Chen's eyes widened. "Technology from our own history? If it's real, it could change everything." Rafael Torres shook his head in disbelief. "All this time we thought we were just beginners. And now, our own ancestors left us a legacy." Jason Reed, standing by the viewport, stared at the swirling storms of Jupiter below. "If the Cathar find out, they'll attack before we even reach Earth." Chen nodded. "Then we move quickly. We can't let the galaxy decide our fate for us." The journey back to Earth was tense. As the Odyssey Dawn passed the outer planets, Earth sensors detected anomalies, alien fleets moving in silence. The Cathar had sent their forces, and they were closing in. Humanity's defenses were growing, but they were no match for the Dominion's firepower. Yet Captain Chen knew they had one advantage: intelligence. While their weapons were weaker, humans had creativity, flexibility, and unpredictability. And now, armed with the knowledge of their ancient past, they could plan in ways no alien would expect. The crew discussed strategies in the ship's narrow conference room. Dr. Khalid spread a holographic map on the table. The vault beneath Antarctica is our priority. If we reach it, we might awaken the full potential of humanity's legacy. If the Cathar attack before we reach it, we will be at a severe disadvantage. Raphael leaned back, his fingers tapping the table. Then we need a diversion. Something they won't anticipate. Chen's gaze hardened. We'll split our forces. Small groups will draw their attention in space while the rest of us reach Earth. We rely on speed and cunning. Jason smirked. Sounds like old-school human tactics. Works for me. The crew prepared for the journey through the asteroid belts, solar radiation zones, and distant moons. Every step carried risk, but their resolve was unwavering. Humanity's awakening depended on it. Meanwhile, on Earth, the news of the Odyssey crew's findings had spread like wildfire. Governments and scientists debated how to respond. The people were both fearful and proud. Humans had always wondered about their place in the galaxy. Now they knew they were the first, the guides of the stars. The world's leaders met in emergency sessions. Commander Elias Navarro, who led the defense fleet, addressed the assembly. We face a fleet that believes they can control us, but we have knowledge they don't. The Cathar underestimate humans. That is their mistake. In secret, civilians volunteered to help. Engineers worked day and night to prepare small spacecraft, upgrades to existing ships and communication networks. Humanity was readying not just for survival, but for awakening. As the Odyssey Dawn entered Earth orbit, the crew was greeted by sight of alien ships moving in formation. Hundreds of Cathar vessels surrounded the planet, their hulls dark against the stars, ready to strike. But the humans did not panic. Dr. Khalid activated the alien station's archives. Projections illuminated the cockpit, showing designs for ancient fleets, defense systems, and machines that bent the rules of physics. This is real, she said softly. We can do this. We can awaken humanity's true power. Captain Chen nodded. Then we start. Prepare the coordinates for Antarctica. We move tonight. Below them, Earth's frozen continent stretched like a white desert. Hidden beneath the ice, ancient hangars and vaults waited for the children of the first people to return. The Odyssey crew descended cautiously, following the projection's guidance. Deep beneath Antarctica, the vault's entrance had been sealed for thousands of years. The ice and stone had preserved it perfectly. As the crew approached, the ancient mechanisms activated. The massive doors rumbled and shifted, revealing a chamber glowing with soft light. Inside were fleets of starships, tools, and machines unlike anything humans had seen. The air hummed with energy, and holographic records began to activate automatically. Dr. Khalid stepped forward, awe filling her voice. This is our history. Our ancestors left it for us. They believed we would find it when the time was right. Captain Chen touched one of the consoles. We are not children of the galaxy. We are the first. Raphael walked among the ancient starships. These ships? They can outmaneuver anything the Cathar have. And the technology. It's centuries ahead of anything we know. Jason laughed softly. Looks like we're about to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of. The crew worked quickly, studying the machines and unlocking their energy sources. Systems hummed to life. Weapons calibrated, shields activated, and the ancient starships rose from their icy hangars. Humanity's past had returned. In space, the Cathar fleet was growing impatient. Admiral Zyrol scanned Earth's orbit, expecting resistance. What he did not expect was the sudden emergence of massive ships from below the ice. They rose silently, but with undeniable power. Zyrol's voice trembled slightly, though he tried to hide it. "Report, what are these ships?" One officer replied, voice steady but fearful. "Unknown, Admiral. They match records of human origin. From thousands of years ago, they are alive." The Cathar realized their mistake too late. They had believed humans were weak, unpredictable, and small. They had underestimated the first people. In Antarctica, the Odyssey crew activated the final record. A human projection appeared, taller and radiant, standing before alien delegates. The figure spoke in a voice that filled the chamber. "We were the first. We shaped civilizations, guided empires, and stepped aside. But we are not gone. Our children awaken. We do not seek conquest, only remembrance. Respect must be earned. Those who challenge it will face the strength of the first once more." The projection ended, leaving a silence that vibrated through the vault. Humanity's awakening had begun. As the Cathar prepared to attack, human ships launched into orbit. Their movements were coordinated, precise, and unexpected, using advanced tactics, unpredictable patterns, and the ancient technology now at their disposal. Humans disabled Cathar weapons, avoided their attacks, and disrupted their formations. Even with superior numbers, the Cathar found themselves outmatched. The humans did not fight for conquest. They fought to protect their home, to reclaim their history, and to remind the galaxy that they were the first. Across the galaxy, other species watched the transmissions with awe. Some panicked, realizing humans were more than legends. Some admired, wondering if they could one day earn humanity's trust. And all understood one truth. Humans had returned not as children, but as the first people of the stars. Captain Chen watched the battles unfold from the control room of the Odyssey Dawn. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "Humanity has awoken, and now the galaxy will see what we truly are." Dr. Khalid smiled. "Our past was hidden, but it is alive again. The first people have returned. The galaxy cannot ignore us any longer." The stars around Earth shimmered with the rise of a legacy long forgotten. Humanity's ancient power, once dormant, now surged forward. The awakening was complete, and the Cathar, along with the rest of the galaxy, realized that underestimating humans had been the greatest mistake in history. The galaxy had never seen humans like this before. The Cathar fleet hovered above Earth, their weapons ready, their pride intact. But doubt crept in. Their sensors showed massive ships rising from beneath Antarctica, ancient starships built by humans long before any current civilization existed. Energy shields flared to life, casting brilliant glows across Earth's orbit. Admiral Zyril stared at the screens, disbelief and fear battling with his pride. These cannot be human designs," he whispered. "They are too advanced, too perfect." Captain Chen stood on the bridge of the Odyssey Dawn, overlooking the fleet that now encircled Earth. The ships hummed with a quiet, confident energy. Humanity's past had returned. Humanity's power had awakened. Dr. Khalid activated the final records from the ancient vault. The holographic projection of a first people human appeared again, addressing the crew, the fleet, and the galaxy. "Those who underestimate the first forget the lessons of the stars," the projection said. "We once guided empires and built civilizations. We chose to step aside, but we will not allow the galaxy to forget our place. Respect is earned, not demanded. The balance must be remembered." The Cathar fleet began to advance, confident that their superior firepower would end the threat quickly. But humanity had learned the value of intelligence, creativity, and strategy. Lessons passed down from their ancestors. Navarro, commanding the Earth Defense Forces, issued orders. "Use the asteroid belts for cover. Draw them in, and when they least expect it, strike." The Cathar pursued, but every move they made was anticipated. Human ships darted between asteroids, using gravitational fields to swing massive rocks into the path of their enemies. The Cathar found themselves slowed, confused, and frustrated. Their technology was advanced, yes, but humans fought differently. Humans fought with unpredictability, with cleverness, and with unity. On board the Odyssey Dawn, Chen smiled. They thought they were facing children. They did not expect the first people to fight like this. Dr. Khalid activated a series of ancient mechanisms within the fleet. Energy fields spread like webs, creating defensive shields that repelled Cathar attacks without harming a single soul. Weapons overloaded, causing ships to retreat or be disabled, yet no lives were lost. The humans' purpose was not conquest, it was protection. In the distance, the Cathar flagship shook as it attempted to penetrate the defenses. Zyril's voice trembled. "We underestimated them. Far too long." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, alien civilizations watched the unfolding battle. Many species had dismissed humanity as insignificant. Many had mocked the idea that humans could be the first people. Now disbelief gave way to awe. Even the proud Sarathi and the stern Vonak could not deny what they saw. Humans were a force unlike any other, guided by strategy, ancient wisdom, and moral restraint. On Earth, news of the awakening spread rapidly. Humanity's colonies in Mars, the Moon, and the asteroid belt coordinated with Earth's defense fleets. Civilian spacecraft joined the ranks, following instructions transmitted by the Odyssey Dawn. Every human, whether in orbit or on the surface, played a part in the planet's defense. Captain Chen spoke over the fleet's communication channels. "Remember why we fight. Not for domination, not for revenge, but to reclaim our legacy. The galaxy must see humanity as it truly is." Dr. Khalid smiled. "And they will. They have no choice. The battle escalated. Cathar ships fired beams of concentrated energy, attempting to penetrate the human shields. Yet the ancient technology responded in ways the Cathar did not understand. Energy was absorbed, redirected, and sometimes amplified. Entire fleets became immobilized without a single shot hitting their targets. Navarro's voice crackled through the comms. "Keep formation. Focus on disabling, not destroying. We are not conquerors, we are protectors." Cathar officers began to doubt their commanders. Their tactics failed repeatedly and morale fell. Ships that had once dominated lesser races now floundered against humans who were outnumbered, but never outwitted. Admiral Zyrol called a meeting aboard his flagship. "We cannot win by force," he admitted. "Their strategy, their unity, it is beyond anything we have faced. They are more than we imagined." One officer hesitated. "Sir, should we consider negotiation?" Zyrol's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps. But first, we must survive long enough to speak. The humans are awakening." Meanwhile, beneath Antarctica, the Odyssey crew activated a final defense system within the ancient vault. Massive ships emerged from underground hangars, powered by energy sources that had lasted tens of thousands of years. These were not just ships. They were monuments of human ingenuity, designed to protect rather than destroy, but capable of overwhelming any opponent. The fleet rose in coordinated formations, radiating power and intelligence. Humans had taken their history, their technology, and their strategy and combined it with their creativity and willpower. The result was unmatched. Captain Chen addressed the fleet one final time. "We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But we will protect our home, and we will remind the galaxy who we are. We are the first people. We are humanity." The Cathar fleet hesitated, caught in awe and fear. Their weapons could not touch the human ships. Their tactics, once supreme, now failed at every turn. Dr. Khalid transmitted the final messages from the ancient archives across every communication network. Images of humans guiding alien civilizations, building empires, and then stepping aside were displayed across the galaxy. Words spoke of wisdom, unity, and restraint. Every species understood the truth. Humans were not new. Humans were not weak. Humans were the original elder species. The Cathar had no choice. Admiral Zyrol raised the white flag of surrender, signaling to his scattered fleets. Ships ceased fire, energy beams dissipated, and silence fell across Earth's orbit. The humans had won, not through destruction but through skill, intelligence, and unity. Captain Chen approached the flagship as part of a human delegation. Zyrol met her gaze, humbled. "I underestimated your people." "You are remarkable," Chen nodded. "We are not conquerors. We are the first people. We guide, we protect, and we remember. The galaxy must respect that." The Cathar fleet and many others watching bowed, not in submission but in acknowledgement. Humanity's awakening had shifted the balance of the stars. Back on Earth, humanity celebrated, but the crew remained vigilant. They knew that their role had changed. They were no longer just explorers or defenders, they were guardians, the original elders of the galaxy. Dr. Khalid looked at the vault's records one last time. "Our ancestors left these lessons for a reason. They wanted us to remember, to rise when the galaxy was ready. That time is now." Raphael smiled. "And we did it. Not with fear, not with hatred, but with intelligence, courage, and unity." Jason grinned. "The galaxy finally knows. And I think they'll think twice before underestimating humans again." Captain Chen looked out at the stars. "We are humanity, the first people, and the galaxy will never forget it." Above Earth, the human fleets returned to orbit, shields down, weapons retracted. The stars sparkled with renewed hope, reflecting the dawn of a new era. Humanity had reclaimed its place among the stars, not as conquerors but as the original guardians. The Cathar, once proud and arrogant, had learned their lesson. Respect was not given, it was earned. And humanity had earned it, not through domination but through awakening, courage, and wisdom. The galaxy had finally seen the truth. Humans were not new. Humans were not weak. Humans were the first, and their reckoning had only just begun.